I'll call the park board meeting to order. We'll start out with approval of the minutes from the last meeting. Are there any changes or corrections or omissions that anyone caught on it? If not, the chair will entertain a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Do we have any guests that need to get on, or is it moved up on the agenda in any way?
Kind of, no, not really. I'll just, maybe this would go up here, but.
Okay, we'll get to that. Well, first item on the agenda then will be the boosters' request to construct a building at the football field. You're on, guys.
My name is Jim Londo. I'm with the Hudson Boosters, football commissioner. Dave Bougie here is our 5th and 6th grade program director, and Pat Kelly is our equipment manager. What we'd like to do is explore the possibility of building a shed down at the Grandview football field, the booster football fields down there. Currently, we have a huge storage issue. The shed at 1st and St. Croix Street that we're using right now is filled pretty full with the baseball equipment. We're using probably, Pat, what about a quarter of it to a quarter of it and stuff. We've gotten a generous offer that we're using storage over in town of Hudson, some donated storage to put some of our equipment. Also down at the football fields, we have 2 portable storage sheds that we are storing our equipment for use down there for the fields and stuff. It's just too much. Our program is expanded with the 3rd and 4th grade program. We have about 350 kids right now coming through the program every year between the 3rd and 6th grade. We're upgrading all of our equipment. We're buying new helmets. We need new racks. And so it just. It'd be nice to have it situated locally, or right over there. But I don't know. I don't understand what we would need to do. We had sent you over a draft of what we thought the size should be. Be like a 40 by 24, and that's based on just the equipment that we have and the space needed. Within the shed itself, we'd also have a concessions. Right now, we have a portable shed for concessions, and also in the shed, we'll have our coaches and referees area, so that they can get dressed and get their teams ready and stuff. But the basic storage area is going to be like a 28 by 24 area. I think with the proposal that was sent, we had just a aerial view of the location, and that aerial view would show. I think Pat put like a line in here of where this could go within here. What we would be doing is we'd be replacing the sheds that are existing there. We would also be taking the current water and the electric and bringing them indoors. Right now, we do have a little bit of a safety issue because our main power is outside. Our circuit breaker box for the lights and stuff like that. We need to get that inside. So I don't know. We haven't really gotten into what we need to put out there, and I guess that's where we're coming to you. Is there any stipulations on building the shed out there? What would it need to be? If we can get some answers, then we can move forward with designing a shed.
Sure. Tom, do you have anything from your department on?
Just that I don't see an issue with, the land that was purchased was through a stewardship grant. I don't see an issue with construction of a building. There already are 2 buildings. I think those are more classified as temporary buildings, where I look at this structure and it's more permanent.
It would be permanent, yeah. It would be with a,
So I guess I'd like to, just keep, I don't see a problem here, but maybe we'll have to see if the city attorney or Denny Darnold maybe could review this and just make sure on that issue.
okay?
Did you say also that if you built this structure that you probably wouldn't be renting the storage sheds?
No, that would still stay. We
So you
still need to
still
rent
need
that
the
because that
storage
is,
sheds down on St. Croix?
that's filled with our baseball.
So that's a baseball deal.
That's our baseball area, yeah.
We do have a agreement between the boosters and the city signed this 7th of August 2002 for 20 years. Talks about the fields, the football fields used by general public, and it talks about irrigation, what you guys install and pay for. And then you just referred to the lighting.
Yep.
We were just, Deb and I were just going over our expenditures and revenues for that whole area, that, including the softball fields, and we're gonna be talking about user fees and things like that.
Understand.
That's something it just kind of caught my eye, that there is a meter down there, and according to the contract, the city is paying for the electricity now, and as our budget is pretty tight,
Yeah.
now I'm seeing a building, and, I know there's a security light down there. Would that be something the boosters would maybe consider a change in this lease and, help out with electricity, or,
Yeah, we do that with all of our other facilities too.
So,
don't think
I
that
guess
would be an
I would,
issue.
that's something we could consider amending this agreement to, that you would include. I don't know if you're gonna have this heated or not.
No, it would not be heated.
And then you talk about concession stands and, refrigerators and other stuff. I know it's
Yeah.
not that big a
No, it
deal, but
is.
to be
It's-
consistent with other yeah.
At the town of Hudson, we also pay for our electricity over there.
Okay.
It is expected, it's an expense.
Then the general maintenance and, things like that, I would hope that, if this is approved, that the exterior would be neutral colors and,
Yeah.
things like that.
Well, I know the high school, Pat, and correct me if I'm wrong, don't they have some color restrictions that they would like to adhere to? Blue and stuff like that? I know they're building one up on, by the baseball, by the baseball fields up there. And in fact, it's done, I think.
Yeah, it's done.
And it's got certain restrictions around that based on what the school is asking for, and
That's the
I
Raider
would-
blue and white.
Pardon?
Raider blue and white.
Is that what it is?
That looks, your new concession press block really does look nice.
It does look, yeah, it does good over there. So
But this is gonna be,
this would be down in the valley, yes.
and, but, just for, I know my personal opinion, my grandson played football the last 2 years. I mean, you guys got a really good program. The fields are nice, the facility, everything's very nice. So I think it's a great thing for the community to invest in our kids' future, and, personally, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, we really need to get this. Right now, just handing out equipment and collecting equipment, we're expending probably 40, 50, 60 hours of man time just to move this stuff around, because we have different locations and stuff, that we're moving the equipment to. Bringing the kids down to the First and St. Croix down there to pick up their equipment. It gets very crowded down there with that. So if we can get it down at the field we're playing on, it would help us.
Well, how about, would this work if out of tonight's meeting, we come out with a general statement in support of doing it? And then suggest that your people and city staff get together, work through the details and everything, so you can come back with a finalized, here's what it's going to be for the next meeting, so that you're on time as soon as the snow's gone, you can get busy doing stuff.
Start building something, yes.
Would that make sense?
Yeah, that would.
Tom, would that
that's
fit
what
your
we're looking
schedule
at.
to be able to do?
No, and I would like to, if we have a meeting, just to double check the the land agreement that we have through the grant and any setbacks or anything that, you know, the city planner or Dave Gray, the city inspector might have.
Yeah, I would like to request one thing too, is within the agreement, and I think we do this every time we add more expenditures down there, like with the field upgrades and the irrigation, that we extend the lease, if at all possible, by so much. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
That could be part of your proposal then,
Yeah.
you know, your final proposal, and
Yep.
then just, you know, if you do present it, you know, I could, part of the urban forestry board in me here that, you know, if we do have this structure down there, it might be nice to have, you know, maybe some trees and shade and,
Yep.
you know,
It's more difficult with a football field, just because with trees and stuff, and you know, we'd have to have the setback on them far enough away. But yeah, we do have the softball fields back there that we have
Yeah.
to compete with, and
Yep,
so. But yes,
very good.
Okay. Would someone like to make a motion that we proceed with the boosters in helping them arrive at their final proposal and going through things with city staff?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Is there any further discussion, or anybody have any questions about anything while we have the gentleman from the boosters here that they can think of?
Now, will you talk to Catherine as part of your preliminary
Oh,
discussion
once,
with Danny?
you know, you can give me a call and set up an appointment, and I'll try to have, you know, the city attorney look at it prior, or Danny. I don't see a problem with it personally. but
yeah, it's
I
been.
just want to make sure.
Yep, understand.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody negative? It carried. I think it's a great idea.
Thank you very much. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Look forward to it. Do we want to move? Yeah, Grandview fees are going to be the same. Next item we had was the fees for Grandview Park, and everyone has the sheet that Tom and Deb put together, and it's the same fee structure as we had last year. Tom, do you have anything to add?
You know, we looked at the expenditures and revenues, and for the last several years, we're, you know, very consistent. We're it's over the last 3-4 years is averaging out pretty close. I don't see a need. You know, some expenditures are a little higher, some are down a little bit lower, so it seems like it evened out pretty well. So I don't see a need to have a increase in fees personally. I'd like to be try to keep them the same. We try to, you know, encourage games and use of the fields. So I don't know if we need to put a burden on any of the users.
Okay. Chair to entertain a motion to approve the Grandview fees for 2014.
Move to approve the fees for 2014.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Anybody have any further questions of Tom on that while we're going at it? If not, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
I think we had Mr. Coates would like to speak.
Please.
Good afternoon, Bill Coates, Hudson Softball Association. Been a member for a long time. Discussing the fees, the only input I would like to give our softball input would be to, we kind of guess we like to get a little bit more competitive in our league. Our league is kind of like going downhill per se. We got some competition with your New Richmond and your River Falls sites being considered much cheaper. We're working with our games and our teams to keep our expenses low, and with being consistent with everything, we like to see that 8% concession fee be rescinded, because as an organization, we don't see any other organizations in town with any concession percent being given back to the city for what we sell. You know, so I was just wondering, you know, we got our field usage, our field prep, our field lights, and we got our concession stand up there. Yes, we do. But I'd like to see that 8% rescinded to be consistent with all the other organizations in town.
Okay.
It's not on this agenda.
technically, that's a new item that's not on our agenda, so we can't deal with anything regarding that at this meeting because it wasn't published in advance.
Correct, I understand.
But that is something that, I would suggest take to city staff, take to Tom's office, and then next meeting, they could come back with a recommendation to go one direction or the other. But we're
That's
prohibited
fine.
from being able to make any
No, I can.
action
totally
at
understand
this
that.
meeting. Yeah.
So would I have to contact Deb or Tom or just?
Yeah, I'll get it ready for you.
All right,
Yeah.
all right, thank you.
Oh, you bet.
Yep.
Next item on the agenda is the mooring fees for 2014. And again, they're holding, the recommendation from staff is that they stay as they were for 2013.
Did they get this or not?
No.
Again, we reviewed the indirect costs, the insurance, general liability, property, administrative fees, general park maintenance, police patrol, and along with the indirect fees, I don't see a need for, an increase for 2014. It's been consistent for several years now.
Okay.
But, when we look at our indirect costs and our general maintenance and things, actually, last year we had a little bit more of administrative fees. There was a lot of issues with the dinghies and things like that, and actually some costs, probably some legal costs got blended in that I couldn't get out of the financial summary. So there was a little more of that in there, or there's possibly some administrative fees in there that that weren't in the financial report. But I guess considering if we don't have a lot of legal issues and things for next year, that I think our costs will come down a little bit. So I feel that that's a reasonable rate. I think we can keep it the same, and I think we provide a good service. I think some of the issues have been resolved, and maybe we can even do more improvements along that area. I know they're going to do some work on the Dike Road this spring, getting some of the cracks and things filled, but that would be my recommendations, to keep the mooring fees the same as the last several years.
Okay. Chair will entertain a motion to keep the fees the same.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
So moved and seconded. Is there any comments that you guys from the audience would like to make regarding the fees?
No, I actually get a lot of questions about fees. Dennis Kroll,
You got to go to the podium.
I am the chair of the Hudson Bay Mooring Association now, and I get questions about them. So I thought I'd comment if anybody had a question from you guys that I could help with. I just came to be here for that.
Oh, great.
We are hoping to make some suggestions for improvements as time goes on, and we're kind of working through some of that right now.
Great.
So, just on the mooring issue, I know there was, it was kind of a controversial decisions made for the dinghies and things. It seems like, to me, with the tie-down structures up closer to the wall, and then you guys, the people with the dinghies, can adjust the chains. So that, there was some grumbling, but overall, I know as far as appearance, with the uniformity of the colors and the boats kind of being all in certain areas, it was easier for us to see who was there and who, it worked out very good for us. I know it was a little bit of inconvenience for you guys, but hopefully that it worked out okay.
Oh, I think it did, yeah. Okay. It's unfortunate that the whole thing, the city had to go through that whole process. And actually, if we would have, there's a bunch of ifs. Only you know, we've been talking about some things since 2007, 8, and if some of those things would have been done back then we would have, that whole thing that you guys went through last year would have never even came about. Anyhow, it's unfortunate. It did happen, and most people are happy that it's settled pretty much.
Good.
And I think the people on the people on the city council, I think that I know have said anything to me. We've talked a little bit, and everybody seems to be quite happy that, you know, there's some kind of order to the whole thing.
Okay.
The only thing I would like to see, though, this summer, and I think I brought it up before, is I would like a little more uniformity with the mooring structures, and, you know, whether we can do that with a GPS system and identify. And I know it's going to take a little bit of work, but, you know, I look as aerial photos and they're kind of all over the place. I know everyone's got their boat and everything. You guys kind of work together, but I know a few of them moved a little bit with the heavy winds and things, but
I have to give you some credit for trying to do that in the past. Maybe that was 3 or 4 years ago. That
let's just talk about that another, where when you guys get into your meetings, just tell them it's just a little concern of mine.
Yep. From what I understand, though, that you tried, and it seems rather, cumbersome. And you know, we'll work with you to get some kind
absolutely,
of
if we have
as
to,
cooperative as we can be.
Absolutely, if we have to take a Saturday or a couple Saturdays and get a boat from one of the marinas or whatever, and
Sure.
or the dive team, and let's get them straightened up a little bit.
Okay.
I'll bring that up to them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any of the members have any other questions on the mooring fee? The chair will call a question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. So the mooring fee will remain what it is. Yeah. Next item on the agenda is Jim Jensen has made a request to be able to operate a pedal cab in Lakefront Park. Jim, you want to take the podium and...
Hi, my name is Jim Jensen, and I'm just requesting a license for a pedicab for Lakefront Park and the bike area. I know I got all the rules on it, and I've been calling around. I've been calling New York and California and Florida, and everywhere where they have pedicabs, and seeing about insurance and the stuff that goes on with the pedicab service.
Tom, I have a question. I'm assuming we're going to allow him to use the pedicab on the asphalt walkway from the bathhouse to Picnic Point, as well as the dike to go down, rather than trying to be on the street with car traffic and you've got parking all along there and people walking out. I think that would be more dangerous than allowing him to use the pathway.
So how wide
Is
are,
that
how
something
wide are
that-
these? I mean, you know, is
This
it,
is a lot smaller than the other ones
Yeah.
that we've looked at in the past. This is like the third time, and this is actually the smaller one. And the ones on the street would require him to go through a whole nother process with
Yeah.
the safety, so
So
he would
these
have
will
to.
be on the, yeah.
do you see a problem? I mean, I'm just wondering how that's going to be with people walking, and right now there's bicycles that you know, it's a kind of a combination trail.
Right.
It's big enough, I think people will see it coming. Right?
And I would pull over the side if I see people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a good idea. I see them a lot in other communities, and I've seen them around.
We approved one last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it ever materialized, but
No, but, yeah.
Do you know your hours, or did you talk about that in your?
7 to 9.
Yeah.
This is kind of a brief summary just to get the recommendation to approve him to do the park. In the past, we've only allowed one in the park, so we kind of want to stick with that. And instead of him just saying that he's only going to go down the dike, I said, let's just cover the whole park because we don't want more than one
Yeah.
down there. So that's kind of how it's written up a little bit.
So if someone else came and asked for a pedal cab, that we'd say we only have one vendor, and that's probably all the city would allow then.
Yeah.
So currently, we haven't heard back from the other
No.
people that were approved, it never panned out.
No.
It's brand new.
Someone care to make a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. You're in.
Thank you.
Thank
Way to
you.
go, Jim.
We'll move it on to the council. So, when it goes to council, would he need to be there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then that would probably be,
It should, hopefully it'll be coming up. I'll find out about the, if it has to go to safety. I don't think it has to because it's in the park. So we're just assuming the 10th, isn't it?
this,
Yeah, this coming Monday would be the 10th. So I'll let you know. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item, we hop back to number 5, the end of the season report on the Kids Don't Float from the DNR project. Tom, Deb, either of you have anything to add to that, other than what was in our packet?
Yep, it's just very nice.
I thought it was a great idea. I didn't see any problems. I think a tree during that June 21st storm. I think a tree branch either landed on part of it or it blew over and there was some damage, but I think they got it back together, and
Did it just blow over the one time?
that's all I noticed. And it was more of something landing on it. I think so.
Did they read in here that as far as theft or at least missing, ours was one of the highest?
Theft.
They lost a lot.
Theft slash
Lost quite a
missing.
number due to theft. People expressed concern. But otherwise, all positive.
Yeah, it's a busy boat launch. And I'm sure there are some people who intentionally take them, but I'm sure there's a lot of people who just forget as they're bringing their boat and their kids and everything else in. They're trying to get the boat back on the trailer and get out of there, and it gets overlooked. I choose to think that more than people stealing them. Next item on the agenda is project updates.
Well, I'd like to, when the weather permits, I'd like to continue with the park assessments. I think last fall we started with Lakefront Park. I thought that was went very well, and we'd like to continue with all the other parks. And I know toward the end of summer this fall that we're going to be working on the comp plan. Every 5 years that is up to get reviewed. So we'll it'd be great to have a needs assessment for all the parks and for that. So hopefully when the weather breaks, we'll keep that in mind. The skating rinks are going pretty well. A couple days when it got really cold weather, we closed them down. When it was cold, the attendants were instructed if no one was around, just close her up and go home. So.
Kids are having fun on the sledding hill.
Holy
They're
moly!
like ants on a snowplow.
We need pictures.
Okay.
They are using the sledding hill a lot, and so other than that, we've been very busy plowing. There was a couple days that we couldn't get the skating rinks cleared off. That's not our top priority, but we got them. Try to get them the next day or so.
Tom, in terms of the sledding hill, when it gets really busy, we've got people on 11th parked on both sides of the street, kids milling around there. Can we plow back onto the boulevard a little
Absolutely.
bit on each side, so to give a little bit more room there?
Yep.
So that, right now, there's a snowbank, so everybody goes into the street to get into the car.
Yeah.
Where if we could knock that back a little bit it would allow them to get into the car from the boulevard side, and I think it would make it a little bit safer in there.
Very good. Yeah, we actually have that situation throughout the entire city. We do. We got a lot of snow, but that's a good safety issue, and
Yeah.
we'll try to get the front end loader with our wing up there.
Okay. Yeah, but
Very good. The other thing for projects this summer, I want to really prioritize is the walking path down on Lakefront. That when we did our walk through last fall, is that there's a couple sections of the trail that are on private property. Instead of getting easements, I just personally think it'd be better just to move the trail over and, get it blacktopped and get everything on city property. So we'll be doing that this summer. We do have some capital monies for new roof for Prospect Park. We can talk about colors and, be nice if we had a volunteer group, or if we can do it, in-house, get the pavilion painted maybe
Rotary did it
before we
last
get a new.
time. Maybe they'd be interested.
The
in doing
Rotary did it
again.
last time.
Yeah.
It might be a really good project. So we have that. I think there's some money left over for the paved trail from the restroom up to the pavilion, and possibly enough money to do a paved trail for the lookout point.
Great.
So, we have some projects for next summer, and
Good.
And it is Williams Park on there too, isn't it?
I think there's actually like a shelter or picnic shelter for Williams Park also.
Okay.
So that would be a good place to visit next, to see
It would.
where the location would be, just for
And the
small.
snowbanks go
Yeah.
down.
Once
Yeah.
the snow's gone, that would be a good place to revisit. Okay. Anybody have any additional items for future agendas? I can think of. If not, Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Quick one. Power.